agree something needs to be done about cement prices in particular because of the impact it has on infrastructure, our quest for even infrastructure growth? To build a bridge, you need cement. So there's a need to do something about it. Do you agree?
Oh, 100%. 100%. In fact, it's not just even looking at public infrastructure, but there's a direct relationship between cement and the price that you and I will pay for rent or even for our dwellings. Because if I am renting and my landlord has to buy cement at a higher price to build the house or renovate the house, guess what? They're going to pass it on to me by increased rent. You know, so straight away you can see the direct impact. But of course, in every country, we know that infrastructure development is underpins the overall development of the country, and therefore it's important that any inputs into your infrastructure development, be they houses, roads, bridges, interchanges, whatever they may be, if something has to stand solid, cement stands behind it, and therefore we take steps to make sure that the price of cement remains what. Low, because cement is, if you like, technically an investment input material. It's not something you just buy and go and consume like watching. You know, it's upstream and it creates more work downstream. Because once I buy cement, masons will work. Some carpenters may come and work thereafter, and so on and so forth. And so it's important to keep the price of cement down. So I agree with you on that. And I also agree that the prices have to come down, but they have to come down in a sustainably well thought out way and not by the force of utterances on a microphone.
A sustainably well thought out way. What do you mean by that?
So, for example, if we take the price of cement, we need to go back and say, what is cement made of? What is the process? And at what point is government input there potentially creating the price rises that we then need to find a way of taming? Now, we all know that one of the largest components of cement, for example, is the clinker. And clinker is imported, right? Clinker is straight imported. So even if you start from that particular angle, right, and you look at it, up until 615 was passed in 2002, clinker was effectively zero rated by way of import duties. What it meant is that throughout the First and Second Republic under President Rawlings, if you imported clinker here, when Gassam was importing clinker here for the purposes of getting it, using it to produce cement and others, you were not paying any duty on it. Of course, Act 615 came in and introduced the first clinker tax or import duty of 5%. So straight away you can see, if I'm producing cement and the price is 10 cedi, and I pay no duty on the clinker, and now you still have 5% duty on the clinker, there are two things. Either I absorb it and my profit will come down by 5%, or I pass it straight to the consumer, which means that the price of cement goes up by 5%. And so if you take it back to that angle, there are many countries world over who, recognizing the crucial role of cement to, if you like, the development of the nation, actually allow zero rate on cement in terms of import duties. So that is a place that the government can go back to. So if we, as we speak, if KT Hammond seriously wanted to reduce the price of cement by 5%, so at the moment it's selling for up to 108 cedis, between 100 and 108 cedis. If he wanted to drop it to 95 cedis, he could work with, the Minister of Finance to scrap the duty on clinker. And that straight away will reduce the pressure, or you should see the price reduce. No cement price manufacturer can then claim that they are not able to pass that on. The government can do that. Very simple and very easy. That's step one. Step two, you bring it into the factory. Cement is heavy on energy. It consumes a lot of energy. Electricity tariffs have been hiked and hiked and hiked again. Now, again, this is another direct input. If you're hiking electricity tariff, if I am spending, let's say I spend 1 million Ghana cedis, right, on electricity to manufacture, what do you call it, 1 million bags of cement, I'll have to add 1 cedi per bag for the electricity cost. If you reduce it to 500,000 Ghana cedis for the same volume, then my price for the cost per cement passed on will drop from 1 cedi to 50 pesos. So again, that's another area where government can make a direct intervention. Government could simply today as we speak, decide that for critical industries that are manufacturing, they will get a preferential energy rate. The kind of rate that President Mahama is talking about when it comes to the 24-hour economy, the kind of rate where we are seeing these companies that are using heavy, a lot of energy, we try and give them a very subsidized rate. Now, if we were to reduce the cost of electricity, the rate we charge, because government is the one that collects those rates. In the ECG is government, GridCo is government. So government can deliberately say, you know what, because of the impact of this electricity on the prices of cement, let's cut it by 50%, which means that you agree with the cement manufacturers. If you are currently charged this percent and we cut it 50%, we expect that should reflect directly in the bag of cement. Again, you can cut that and it can come down to 1985 cedi. You know, that is simple and straightforward. Then you come to the other VAT taxes, the nuisance taxes. Take a bag of cement and look at how much we are charging all kinds of nuisance taxes on it. And I don't see what those taxes are used for, if not flying around on fancy private jets and sponsoring fundraising dinner dances like the one Baumia held last week, Saturday, where they flew in over 50 government appointees and party apparatchiks to one of the most expensive hotels in London called the Landmark Hotel, fully paid for that dinner, and ended up claiming that they had raised 1.2 million pounds. And everybody knows that those people coming from Ghana, the money was divided and given to them to bring in money laundering, clear and straight. That 1.2 million pounds that they have washed into this country by way of Baumia's fundraising dinner dance, if that was used to reduce taxes in Ghana, 1.2 million pounds, that's over 20 million Ghana cedis. So imagine that was used to reduce the nuisance taxes. You know, taxes like you have import levy, then you have VAT on import levy, NHIL on import levy, and all that stuff. If you were used to reduce the input taxes on cement, then you are able to ask the cement operators to simply pass it on. It's as simple as that. That is the most commonsensical and, if you like, sustainable approach to reducing the price of a bag of cement in Ghana today. What the current Minister for Trade, K.T. Hammond, is doing amount to screaming at the top of his voice like a baboon on heat. It will not solve the problem. Simply instructing them to reduce will not reduce it because they are facing cost. How are they going to pay the high taxes that they have? How are they going to pay the electricity, utility bills, electricity, water, and other inputs that they have? How do you expect them to pay this if you continue hanking them up? So the sustainable solution is government has to directly look at cement, and if we identify it as a priority item in our development, because guess what? Government itself, you collect these taxes, they are added on cement, and you go back and buy cement at a higher cost. Because when government pays a contractor, the contractor will go cost plus their what? Margins. Those costs are being paid by government. So in a certain sense, if you are charging a lot of inputs, and those inputs is hiking the price of a bag of cement to 108 cedis. When you are building that next school, and it's because this government is building nothing, they don't feel it. When you're building that next school and you buy cement, the taxes you collect, you're going to use it to go and buy the same bag of cement at the higher price. So you basically got a cement company to collect taxes, or you collected the taxes from them and use it to pass back to them, which is a very circular way. The final solution is this: a large input, and I started with that clinker, is imported, and is imported in dollars. Ironically, government of Ghana pays its duties in dollars. The exchange rate, one of the reasons why the price of a bag of cement keeps jumping higher and higher and higher. If your exchange rate is currently selling at $1 to 16 cedi, a couple of months ago it was 1 to 10 when noise was being made, barely a year ago. What it meant is that if I imported let's say I bought 1 million tons of clinker, and the dollar was 10, and that went for, let's say, 10 million cedis, right? Now, the same quantity that I bought for 10 million cedis a few months ago is now going for 16 million cedis. Because of government chaotic and incompetent management of the cedi, 6 million cedis has been added to the cost of the production of cement, which needs to be passed, unfortunately, to the consumer. So straight away, the question you'll be asking yourself is, who costs them? If government could have stopped this 6 million cedi increase in what do you call it, the cost of clinker imports, if government could have stopped or waive the import duty to zero rate clinker, if government can reduce and give a preferential rate, and that's what President Mahama is going to do, give a preferential tariff on electricity for cement producers, then straight away you can then demand, sitting with the manufacturers at the table, that we have reduced these costs, simply pass them on to the consumer, and consumers will feel it. So government knows what it needs to do. But what it is doing here is trying to play a blame game by pretending that it is the cement manufacturers that are doing. There's a lot of competition in the cement industry. And I don't believe any cement manufacturer would deliberately increase their prices knowing that they may lose market to their fellows. All of them have had to increase prices to accommodate the cost I've talked about, the increased cost in importing clinker because of the deteriorating cedi, the increased cost as a result of the dollarized duties that are on cement, increased cost as a result of utility tariffs on it. So the solution is to work at it from that angle and not to grab a microphone and scream out, reduce the prices. That will not work.
What about passing a law?
Price regime, it will fail.
What about passing a law?
Well, the thing is, passing a law will not work. We have been in this country in the 70s, and at some point when you had fixed price regimes, you pass the law. If you pass a law and say no one should sell their cement above 100 cedis, two things will happen. Those who cannot sell below 100 cedi will stop. And what it will mean is straight away, supply of cement will dry up. And when supply is lower compared to demand, the market forces will force the price up. You and I will go to the market looking for cement, and they'll tell you there's no cement at the market, but the person will tell you, I don't have cement in the shop at that price. But if you want it at 108, in fact, it will now go up. It will now be traded like currency. I will now say, if you want it at 110 or 120, come and see me in my house in the night. And then you come in the night and buy it through the back door. You know, black market will boom on cement. So market forces must work. As social democrats in the NDC, we don't believe in that kind of using the law to fix it. I think that government should rather use that law instead of regulating prices. They should use the law to cap, if you like, duties on cement. They should use the same law to reduce at least by 50% the cost of electricity to the input to the manufacturers of cement. They should use that same law to make sure they bring in the cedi. They rein the cedi, they stabilize the cedi to cushion the impact on cement manufacturers. There is no law, right, that can force you to sell. It can lock a price, but if the price is not good for the market, nobody is going to go and sell at a loss because of a law. They will simply stop production. And once they stop production, what are you going to do? Import from another country? And when you import from another country, are you going to force the person from that country to also subject themselves to the same law? Or worst case, they'll keep to the price, but they'll reduce the quality. And houses will be collapsing day in, day out. Already we have a situation where the quality in cement, the quality in iron rods and steel and other inputs in the building industry within Ghana are already suspect. Because of these high prices, some companies who are selling lower are having to cut corners, and we do not have a very robust standards authority that is able to track and manage all of this. So that approach of using an ally to regulate prices, it will not work. It has been tried before. If the Minister of Trade, one of the longest serving MPs, really knows the history of governance and price regulation in Ghana, he won't go near this. It is the dynamite he doesn't want to detonate.
Well, Chairman, I wanted to take your views on the DDEP, but my guest is here. My guest is the Volta Regional Chairman of your party. Is here. So we'll find some time and go back and revisit that in a bit more detail. Thank you for speaking to us.
Not a problem, sir. Thank you very much, Sama, and thank you to your cherished listeners.
That's Chairman of the NDC UK Ireland chapter speaking to us on this issue of cement prices.